Hello people, apologies if I've been missing for a little minute. There was a few things I was handling. That I observed all of the time I did have, and I had to make a conscious decision of whether to make videos or really and truly make videos. Because the time that I've been missing, I've been working on my investment course. It's come to a point where a lot of persons have asked me how to invest and want to walk through, etc., etc., etc. I've now created a stock course. It is on Patreon. I'll leave the link in the description below. So the original price is going to be $100 USD. One time payment, they get everything there is. You also get access to the community group. We'll just discuss other stuff really and truly about the markets. So now until August, I will have it at $70. So that was one of the main reasons why I've been missing. The other one was work have me traveling now, so not out of the country yet, around the country. There was that. Also, I've been working on some stuff. I made a big boy purchase. Next year, them time here should be able to come out and state exactly what it is. Without further ado per se, I was going to kind of recap what happened in June. I'm not missing for basically a whole month. Recap what happened in June, which is Scotia Delisting, CIBC Selling, the JSE Breach. I guess something I'll talk about going depth more afterwards as relates to the impacts that I think a lot of investors tend to neglect. So the first one, which is Scotia Group going private, or i.e. delisting of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And this going to be a big problem, or is a big story. It's going to be a big problem later on. Scotia parent company, which is Scotia Caribbean Holdings, they already own 71.78% of the Scotia Group. They announced that they intend to buy the remaining shares of minority investors. So the 28.22% of shares out there to the market. Their aim is to buy up all that at a cash price of $61.50. After that, the company aims to go private, come off of the Jamaica Stock Exchange essentially. So they'll no longer be traded on the stock exchange. Based on the list some did have right here, so of what I deduced from what they're saying is, one, they aim to reduce public company costs. They also aim to improve efficiency. Also aim to make decisions faster and focus on long-term growth rather than quarterly expectations that affect the stock price and valuation of the company, which is fair. Them also emphasize that, one, it's not like the company or shut down, it's just that it's going to be delisted. The brands are going to stay open, the employees them still have them job, the customers won't really notice any change. The only any change would be that the owners of the company would change. Rather than the general public can go and buy a rate, then there's that. And funny enough, I did make like a top stock pick video where Scotia was also on it. There is that. Now, is the $61.50 a good offer? Really and truly, no. They're offering at about 12 or 13% premium based on them average trading price for the last 30 days. However, personally, I feel like Scotia is undervalued, as is with a lot of these financial companies. Personally, I feel like them undervalued. It can easily trade for like 8 law. I just one of them things there really and truly. Why this whole issue, or the whole innate issue of this? So why this matters to JSE? One, Scotia is one of the largest companies listed at Jamaica Stock Exchange. One of the highest dividend paying companies at about, when we did the dividend, was like 4%? Or 3 point no, or 4 point something. I remember half of the top of right now. One of the biggest dividend companies. It also holds about 10% of the market capitalization for Jamaica Stock Exchange. I.e. means it holds 10%, like the value is 10% of the entire market essentially. There is that. Once you remove the main market, becomes smaller. index fund them have to sell them Scotia shares. The pension people them going to have to find out where roughly $54 billion with the minority shareholders money are go. So that is an interesting thing to go about. I might actually make a video about that now. Let's see how the week here run. I don't work this weekend, so should be able to do it. We said it work and make a video about that. We try to find mechanical fund. So different financial institutions might get that inflow. One might be, NCB. Another one might also be Sagicor. I feel like a good portion will go to Sagicor. Maybe we Cinco Group. I can even go in like government bonds, or people just decide, you know what, I'm gonna go over the overseas market. No single company large enough to replace the entire role that Scotia did own or hold. It going to have to be money we split up all over the place. There is that. The only good thing is that you might notice, say, once them sell, yeah, shares not part of the company, like it start get flooded. I have some stocks I feel like might actually go there. I'm going to make a video about it. It's more of positioning ourselves to be there when it happens, other than an innate sound yet, based off my experience and based off how we manage funds. It might actually do something. I'll make a video about it. Two, this whole CIBC Caribbean being sold is another huge company. But the difference is CIBC is not listed, so it's not like it affecting the stock market. However, it affecting the banking sector in Jamaica. Back from the top, CIBC Canadian parent is selling 91.7% of its stake in CIBC Caribbean. The buyer of that going to be the NT Butterfield and Sons Bank, the Bank of NT and Butterfield and Sons, which is about US $1.8 billion sales. So why they selling? I'm gonna give you what the corporate thing is. Yeah, so one, they say they're going to focus more on the Canadian and Northern American part of the company. Also, they use to free up capital. I guess simplify operation. They have over the years sold several other smaller Caribbean countries. I guess just Jamaica next step on the chopping block, really and truly. I feel like with Jamaica banking sector, you need the capital adequacy ratio has to be a certain percentage. Oftentimes, that is to protect our local population or banking sectors. Like Jamaica banking sector is, if one bank start fail, say, it's a ripple effect. I think we learned this now in college some time back. Regardless, that is one of the main reasons. In addition to the fact that, the whole scamming situation and them something there, they might want kind of reduce them position in the Caribbean, which is not good. It's not good, but little by little, I guess. What happens next? So if it get approved by the regulators, the Bank of Butterfield company going to become the controlling shareholder. You'll make a monetary offer to the minority shareholders. They're going essentially have to take it really actually, in the grand scheme of things. It's more like courtesy, courtesy and formality. And they said the transaction should be like done by next year, probably the first half of next year. Anywhere between January to maybe June. Does this affect Jamaica? Operationally, no, not necessarily, if I'm being honest, based on what I'm seeing. As it relates to customers, they still have them account. The branches them are going to remain open for the foreseeable future until Butterfield is do. Employees still continue work. You see me? The ownership really and truly is a change from CIBC Caribbean to Butterfield. Last thing, I guess, as recap per se, or second to last thing, is this whole Jamaica cyber security incident to happen. I wasn't scared necessarily because based on what? Because they send out a formal statement to them, say them detect suspicious activities, them isolate that part of the system that was affected. I'm going to put the whole thing on the screen. I don't know if you can read it. Yeah, so essentially they launched an investigation and they engaged the cyber security experts, and them just do them regulatory due diligence of just making us know. Essentially, there was that. the shares them never get stolen. At least there's no evidence of that. There's that. The only thing that was affected per se was whoever hackers got access to like personal information, name, I guess where you live, because JD, because they would send like dividend checks and something there, so which by you live. I guess any information there, KYC information for any investing thing, like your password and name something there, never get compromised because a whole different section the company operating, so that never get affected. Adjust them stuff there, but I'll put it up on the screen and show you exactly what they say. But if you're an investor, you're supposed to know this, case supposed to come in an email. You might have to check his spam. It's supposed to actually in an email. My entire take before we go to the last thing is the biggest impact of this is Scotia being delisted. It's going to affect the blue chip stocks. Institution gonna have to sit down and do some calculation and figure out which other company can absorb the large amount of capital. I guess the overall innate confidence at JSE. To be honest, even though I know how the market works, we do have companies where delist. For example, in Cable and Wallet, they delist. Which other company they delist? Denos and Geddes. Them big companies affect like investor sentiments. If investors say, oh, I know star, I like company with delist or they want left or whatever, kind of not only put a strain on JSE, but also make you kind of think twice about it. But all good things must come to an end, you see me? So companies going hop in, hop out, etc. etc. While we're in the whole concept of companies hopping in, oftentimes new investors focus on if the PE low, if the dividend good, will the stock price go up? They also do consider them things, companies delisting, if it ever even be profitable, or even companies going get like suspended due to not filing them JSE stuff. I'm going to make an entire video next on that because that is very important. For example, Atlantic, I think going to suspend tomorrow, which is July 1st. Let them know. Atlantic Hardware. Sometime the last year, early last year, them it's not even a full year good. I like a year and a little bit. There is that. So investing, like there's any risks that we don't talk about as investors or content creators, which I think we should do. Because whenever I do my thing, I do my risk analysis. However, I don't put it out there because risk analysis, the generic things, is also subjective to the individual and what constitutes risk for them. So normally I don't. However, what I'm gonna start do is do like a risk star ratings, and in the next video me figure out how I'm gonna do it and explain it without innately saying, yo, that company not good, don't buy it, because I've come to realization that not only people know me, people actually listen to me. So I'll just find a way out for it, get like a star point system to kind of, not advise, but just say, oh, I also don't want to do diligence. I'm 100% sure that sometime we'll do reviews them. That is the BRN. So a lot of social media persons in the financial space, how I do diligence that them don't even know about. Cause imagine now me make a video and say, yeah, why Atlantic? Cause my videos are posed to just giving you the information that is there. But if me say, yeah man, go buy Atlantic, and he decide say, alright, 100,000 shares in Atlantic, one, the stock price been would have already start decline already, because based on the history, it just didn't go down. And in 2 years, decide, you know, me I try to cut my losses and sell my shares tomorrow. And when you look, you can't sell the shares them because what? The shares them suspended, you can't sell them. So a liquidity issue as well. So as I said, I'll make a full video explaining everything as relates to that part of investing, and also made a video upon which stocks I feel like going, the money out with Scotia I will release, I will go to. So apologies again for the delay. And remember guys, if you want to support me, buy the stock course. I'm not promising, I'm not going to get it, because like almost 50 videos. They're not long. Some of them, like the analysis part of them, but breaking on the concept and you understanding certain things as an investor. 15 grand, or 16 grand. Right now it's 7th class. I think about 10,000. It's a decent price to pay. Yeah, you know, Jamaican likes some money, but trust me, if you can, do it. If not, then just go watch the free YouTube videos and no hard feeling. But if you can, it is. From beginners to intermediate, because we go through modeling as well. So we'll go through the beginning part, understanding the market, etc., etc., and then we'll go through modeling. So thank you guys for watching and catch you next video. Peace.